Hello.
Hi, teacher.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Hello. How are you?
Hello.
I'm fine. I'm just wondering why my head looks so horizontal.
Are we gonna talk about Japan?
Oh, I've prepared something very interesting. Hopefully, I hope you like
I need to look at some reference for the Notre Dame for tomorrow.
I am doing
Restaurant?
homework.
What homework is that?
And talking to me.
Art homework.
Art?
Oh, I finished that.
Teacher,
Yes,
you didn't send me the video.
I did.
An email.
Teacher, what should I write?
Melissa, check your email. There should be an email from WeTransfer. WeTransfer is the platform that I used because the video was 100 megabytes or something. It was big. I couldn't send it on Viber, so check your email. It's there.
The scholars cup.
I checked my email and it's not here.
Lesson with the how was it Notre Dame?
The Notre Dame. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's
I
see
am
who-
gonna have a lesson with the 5th graders tomorrow at 3.
That's
If
nice.
you
I'm gonna have as well. I asked her when she can when she's free, and she told me after her lessons.
You know, the people who have
I'm doing it
applied,
in 2.
the people who have applied for those lessons are really amazing. For example, Nida, your student,
Teacher?
Adea, is amazing. You'll see. Everyone's, I mean, everyone's.
How about
I don't even know. I don't even know how she looks like.
Well, you'll see her tomorrow,
Teacher?
right?
what? I have
Teacher, how
I have a
about
question.
Wait, Michaela was talking. Michaela?
How about my student?
You
Amaya?
have a teacher. She has an
Amaya is a wonderful person. She speaks English very well. Her
Was she
sister
a-
is Sarah. Sarah last year was the
right,
best scholar
oh, right.
in the whole division, in the junior division.
What's her niece's sister's name?
Kiara.
Teacher?
Oh right.
Fiona, actually know Fiona from a friend because she's my neighbor.
Teacher?
I didn't know that.
Teacher, I know Daria's.
Student?
Yeah,
Who is she
lives
working with?
in
I forgot.
Alexa.
Ah, right. He's from 5B.
We live in the same building. He's like 1 floor up.
I think he's a. I've always had
No,
a
but
very
he's-
good opinion about him. Okay, let's just wait for one more minute. I suppose that's it.
Teacher, my mom is asking about the Roditos cup.
Yes, it's a.
Teacher, do they have to come? Do they have to come?
Why wouldn't they? I mean, it will be fun. We'll just talk about
Mom
things.
doesn't want to.
If she doesn't want
did
to,
you-
it's okay. If she doesn't want to, she doesn't have to. Michaela, she doesn't have to if she can.
My mom is asking for the passcode for the Roditos cup.
Teacher,
It's the same. I'll use the same. I'll use
Teacher?
my same ID number and password. Yes,
Teacher?
Nicole? Yes.
what about Victor?
Teacher,
Victor is also great.
just
He's
so you
from
know,
5B. What, Melissa?
just so you know, Daria is not because she doesn't have a laptop and her phone.
Teacher?
I'll just send her the video. It's fine.
After the
You're
list,
recording this.
Yes,
Right?
Melissa. Yes,
Teacher,
I-
why
After
about
the
what are we
lesson,
gonna talk
can
about?
you
What are we gonna talk about?
try again so I can see if you actually send it?
Yes, sure.
Millie, send me your mail and I'll try to forward it.
She has it. She has it.
Okay, I'll send it right now on eBay.
Teacher.
Okay, now, this is what we'll do now. I have selected 3 things that I'll talk about. There's 12 people, so
Is it gonna be only with what 6th and 7th grade? Or?
well, 8th and 9th graders are invited as well. Whose microphone is that?
Somebody's.
I invited the 8th and 9th graders as well. I sent their class teachers a message. I don't know if they've told them or not. But I told you these lessons are completely optional. If someone doesn't want to come, it's fine for me. You know, I'm just trying to have nice lessons about something that's quite interesting. I hate my hair today. It will look weird on the video.
Mine too. It's so
Mine is very bad today.
Just washed it. That's fine. Okay, so this is what we're doing. I'll talk about I think I'll talk about Kintsugi. That's how I'll start the lesson because it's very
What
short.
is
I'll
that?
get, you'll see now. Then I'll talk about Edo Castle, which is very, very useful, I think. And then I'll talk about the zodiac heads.
Oh,
All of these things are very useful, and this is the second part of the restoration segment. That there will be one more. There will be. Whose microphone is that?
I don't know, but it reminds me
know.
of that.
it's like we're in a horror movie with the microphone.
Terrible.
Teacher, what should I write so I can find like pictures of the ideas that people had about
I can send you.
reuniting?
I can
We
send
have it
you.
on the World Scholars Cup page, I think.
Yeah.
About
I'll show you now.
renovating
Okay, fine. Okay, let's start. Now, this is something that I find very, very valuable, and it's really something that can be used for a lot of things. Wait, just a second. How do I? Kintsugi. Now, yes.
Oh yeah, we talked about this yesterday.
Actually, what you showed us for listed on last week, you can find it on the Scholars Cup page,
Nicola,
right?
there's something wrong with your microphone. I can't hear anything.
Yeah,
It's just like blah.
I don't understand.
Can you try
It's
now?
like a robot.
Yeah.
Okay,
Is this
now,
like a plate or something?
Look at this. What is this? What do you think this is?
A bowl we
Wait,
talked about
wait,
yesterday.
A bowl covered
bowl.
with gold.
We've talked about it? No.
Yeah,
Yes,
in the
yes.
English lesson he told us.
I don't remember this.
There's on the English lesson we had
Oh, we
yesterday.
didn't learn this.
I don't remember telling you this. Now, kintsugi is a Japanese repairing technique. So this used to be a normal bowl, but when it broke, they used this technique, and what they do is they take the shards. So, for example, let's say that if this bowl falls down and it breaks into 3 shards, you take the shards, you glue them together, and they sprinkle some gold powder so it looks like this, which is amazing because I think that it tells you a lot about their mindset. In our country, when something breaks, you try to glue everything together so no one can see it, right? That's what I would do. If
I would
this
actually buy that thing
if
with
this
the
cup
gold.
or mug fell down and it broke into 3 pieces, I would try to glue it together so no one can see it. Now, the thing that I like about this technique, kintsugi, is that it's really a wonderful metaphor. It's very philosophical if you think about it, because you can extend it to talk about people. In our country, we're very conservative. So if something, if someone is very self-conscious about something, for example, his big ears or his big nose, we always try to hide it. If someone has freckles, you know what freckles are. If someone has
I
freckles,
have freckles.
I like freckles.
I like freckles. My sister has freckles, but a lot of people don't like their freckles. It thinks that they think that they don't look nice. So what they do is they cover them. They put a very thick layer of makeup so no one can see the freckles. And what I don't really like that, you know, because I think that
Honestly, if I had freckles, I would keep them.
we should
I
be
would love to
comfortable
have
with
freckles.
the way we look and the way and who we are. So the thing about kintsugi, this Japanese technique, is that the Japanese people don't look down on imperfections. They actually emphasize them. They accept them as part of the object's history. Now, I know that sounds weird, but I'll explain it why. So this cup over here, full of coffee at the moment.
Did you see that while you were in Japan?
I did, yeah. This was produced. This was produced with 1,000 other mugs exactly like this one, because we're talking about mass production, right? In factories, they just produce them. They all look the same, which means that this is just an ordinary everyday object. It has no artistic meaning or value. But
Not,
if this falls down and I
not
use
special or something.
Kintsugi, the technique, and imagine this. Imagine that there is a crack over here, and it's full of it's covered with gold. This will not look the same. It will look like an artistic object. It will be one of a kind, because although 1,000 mugs or cups have been produced exactly like this, I'm the only one who will have it the same, who will have the mug with the, with that technique. So what I'm trying to say is that even if, for example, Yana, Sarah, Michaela, you're the first on my screen, even if you have exactly the same mug and you drop it and then you use the same technique, it will break in a different place. It won't be the same mug. What I'm trying to say is that what they say is that we shouldn't be afraid of imperfections. We should embrace the imperfections and make them stand out even more, because that's what makes us unique. Not just pottery, not just ceramic bowls, people as well. And I've thought about this like 5 years ago, because I've lived here for a very long time in this neighborhood. In this neighborhood, there was a girl. There was only I've seen her only once and never again. She had like a birthmark over here. It looked like a crescent moon, like a half circle shape. I think that maybe you've seen those people. They have slight discoloration of their skin. Their skin looks different
Yes.
color, like they've been burned. There are some people who have like red patches on their cheeks or on their face. So this girl had like a blue birthmark over here under the eye, and it was like a half moon over here. When I saw her, I found it very attractive, because I suppose that there aren't any other people who have that in the world. Maybe there are, but I've never seen them. So that's what makes her unique. So it reminded me of this technique that you don't have to hide the imperfections, for something to look good. And by using this technique, you turn an ordinary object into a piece of art. Because what you say is that yes, this was a normal bowl. It broke down. Breaking down was part of its breaking was part of its history. So I'll accept that moment in history and involve it in the final product. And that's
Yeah,
why
you said that in the video as well.
yeah, that's why I like the Notre Dame thing, because you accept that the roof and the whole section burned down, and you say at this moment in that year, that date, blah blah blah, a terrible accident happened, it burned down. Now, just to commemorate that, we'll use it as part of its lifetime, as part of its history, which is something that I like. Now, I'll show you a very
Teacher?
interesting. Yes, Nico?
Is this mic better?
Yes, better. So that was the first segment. Very simple. Just remember that the Japanese people have a different mindset. They use this technique, which is quite different from what we would do, and it extends as a metaphor to people. Now, I'll talk about the second thing. I'll talk about castles. Do you like castles? Yes, you do, right?
Yeah.
Everyone likes castles, right?
Depends on the castle.
Why?
They're cool.
Because
Magical.
they're so unique.
They're so unique.
Yeah.
Okay. What do they look
And
like?
because they're old, they're like kind of
Princessy.
deformed. How can I say
Princessy.
it? And
No,
they
no.
They're
fall
like
apart.
artifacts
and it's
lost in
interesting.
time.
What does a
Every
castle look like
castle
in your
has its
mind?
own
They're like-
design.
In your
I
mind, what
like-
does a castle look like? Is it
If I have to imagine a castle, the first thing that would probably come to my mind would be
the battle?
princessy. But then when I look back and I look back to all the castles I visited, they're not princesses. They're just like a really big place to live.
They're
No,
like
like
a
the one
very
in
big place to
Ireland.
live. Okay, I
They're
like that.
historical.
And
Like the one in Ireland.
they are quite scary, to be honest, because what was the
Yeah.
use of a castle? What was the purpose of a
Sure.
castle? Do you know?
To
Well, it was. I think
Well.
it was built for.
for the
Royal-
It
The
was built for
important-
the royalty, but look at this. No, wait, I don't know if you can.
It looks cool. I like castles.
It looks
looks
cool.
pretty.
It looks pretty, but
it looks cool and
looks
it's kind of creepy.
impregnable. What I'm trying to say, it means that you can't go through it. You would need some kind of a huge battering ram to go inside, or a catapult, or I don't know. It was built for protection,
Or
and
permission.
people use them during wars. That's why all the best castles are built on a hill, so where soldiers wouldn't be able to go, and and there are battlements. If you can see it on the towers, there's like a square structure. I don't know how to explain it.
Like a
So
Archers
archers could
yeah.
stay there and shoot arrows or just throw up, some hot oil, burning oil on top of the soldiers.
Why would
You
they?
get it. Now,
Teacher,
yes,
they
go.
put them on the hills for a better defense as well, right?
It's for defenses. Now, I'll show you one of the best looking buildings in the whole world. This is, where is it? This is a different castle. We're not going to talk about this castle, but I just want you to have an idea of what Japanese castles look like. This one is in Osaka. Look at this.
That looks cool.
This is a Japanese castle.
This is really beautiful.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Look at it.
This is really beautiful.
I like the
want to live
colors.
here.
This is
How would
pretty.
You can see that
this
everything is
work?
in pink. This is called sakura. It means cherry blossom. There are a lot of cherry trees in Japan. Look at this. Look at this. This is magnificent.
I want to live here.
This is beautiful.
Now, why am I telling you this? I'll move on to the second part of the lesson. If you go to the art and music subject, we've done the Notre Dame. Now we're moving to Edo Castle over here.
Is that the?
This is what we will be talking about today. Now, you can find all the information over here, but I decided to just simplify it a bit because it's quite long. I'll just make it shorter a bit, and I would like you to try. I'll give you a parallel. I'll give you a metaphor, an analogy. So, you know that everywhere you go, there is a very genuine, authentic landmark, right? For example, you go to London, you see the Buckingham Palace. You go to Paris, you see the Versailles Palace. I don't know how you say it in English. You go to you go to Ohrid, you see the Samuel Fortress, right? So there is always something genuine, something that feels that way. Now, wait, I'll show you a photo. I should have prepared these photos beforehand. Never mind. Well, you'll see it if I do it this way. I was supposed to. So these are my photos from Japan. Let me just try to find
How many photos from Japan do you have?
Like 1,500. I have a lot of photos. Sorry for waiting. Where is it? I'm trying to find two of the most famous landmarks in Tokyo, in Japan. And I would like you to tell me that if they look Japanese. Now, this, for example, this is, never mind, this doesn't look very nice. This one. Look at this. This is the Golden Pavilion. This looks Japanese, right?
Yes.
Now, I'll show you something else. Where is it? Oh, here. So many photos. I'm not showing off, by the way. I genuinely want to show you the photo. Not. I was supposed to do this beforehand. Oh, I'll need this photo later. Where is it? Tokyo tree. You know what? I can't find it. And
when you find it, just send it to us in a group.
Maybe that's the best thing to do. Okay, I'll just write it over here. Tokyo Tower. This thing over here this is one of the most famous landmarks in Tokyo. The thing is that it looks like a red Eiffel Tower a bit, right?
A bit more than a bit, honestly.
And the panorama is amazing. I mean, it looks really good, but look at it. If I just showed you this photo, would you guess that it was in Japan? Never.
No.
Right?
No, I would think it's an edit of the Eiffel Tower in red and white.
No, I know that's Japan. I have seen it.
I would believe that it is somewhere in the world, but I wouldn't guess.
You wouldn't guess Japan. Or this one. This is one of the tallest buildings in Japan. Can you see it over here? Yes. Look at it. Does it look Japanese? No, it looks like a huge pen.
It looks like
like the Empire State Building. Like
it looks nice when you see it like this, in the panorama. But what I'm trying to say is that both of these buildings don't look Japanese. Now, If,
But they are in Japan.
and there is a group of people who doesn't really like that, and they're saying that every big capital or every city in the world has their own landmark. What do we have? We have the Tokyo Tower and we have the Tokyo Skytree. But why does that matter? When people come here, they don't learn anything about our culture or about our background because they don't look Japanese. So, so it's why do people? No, let me rephrase that. If you have unlimited funds, you guys, and I asked you to build a monument on the city square, what would you build?
Not something with lions on the gates.
Why?
Because there's too much of it.
What would you build?
Too much lines.
What would you build?
Something that
Probably
would
nothing
be
because
liked by people and would stand out. I don't know what.
What is the
not
purpose of
about our
monuments?
culture.
What is the purpose of?
to attract people and tourists and make
It's
money.
not just tourists. You know, that's the thing. When people build a monument, they do it to say something about their culture and lifestyle. So, for example,
about our culture.
let's say that if I had unlimited funds, I would build a huge monument at the city square of a jar full of ivar, right? And I would say, I'm just, you know.
I would really like that.
A giant jar of ivar. And I'll say, ivar is so important for Macedonian people. It's part of their culture because in the past, our mothers and grandmothers would go in the yard and they would just bake or roast some peppers.
Well,
and they would grind them, and the whole family would be there together. And during the winter, we eat a lot of ivar, and it's a very special connection that we have, right? So the thing is that if I build a monument, it has to be something that's going to describe the spirit of the people. And the Tokyo, just a second, the Tokyo Skytree and the Tokyo Tower do not represent the Japanese spirit. That's the whole thing. So that's why there's a group of people who started thinking about what they should do with that, and so the group has a very interesting name. It's a long name. It's called the Group to Aim for the Reconstruction of Edo Castle. Edo Castle does not exist. Edo Castle existed for about 15 years when it was built, because then it burned down. I think I've told you that in Japan, everything is built with timber, with wood, and there are fires all the time. So when one building burns down, the whole city burns down. That used to happen a lot in the past. But I tried to find some photos of what it looked like. It's very difficult to find it. Not this one.
In the past
This one.
or now.
This is what it looked like. This is what Edo Castle looked like. And when you see this, it looks Japanese, but it also says a lot about the spirit. I'll explain that.
Is that even real?
This is not real. This is just a simulation to show what it looked like, because no one knows what it looked like. There's only one person. I'll explain everything now. So this this group was founded by a person who used to work and who founded a travel agency. So what we're trying to say here is that he knew how tourism works. He knew that if he built something authentic, that there would be a lot of tourists flooding Tokyo to see it, right? He said that they would learn more about the country. And the thing is that when I talked about Notre Dame, I told you that everything that took place and the whole competition was organized by the government. The prime minister and the president, they were involved, blah, blah, blah. But here, we're talking about normal citizens. We're talking about normal citizens. And when this person founded the group, he started talking to his friends, and there were a lot, other friends of his, other people who supported the idea. And now the group has over 1,800 members, which is a lot. And they're not just like casual people, peasants or something. No, we're talking about famous people in Japan, businessmen, bankers, designers, and they really support the idea, which makes sense, to be honest. If there was something to be done like that, I would do it. I would support it. there was a person who worked as a in a bank. He was part of the group, and he made some estimates about how much it would influence Japan's economy if they built it and if foreign tourists came and saw this historical site. And he said that the number would increase fourfold, which means that they would make 4 times the money they do now. And 108, he said that their economy, their profit would reach 180 billion yen. Now let me see how much that is. I'm not sure. 2 USD. Oh yeah. So that's.
Oh God.
How do you even read this number?
Well, it's 1 billion. 1.654 billion.
1 billion.
No.
Six
1
hundred-
billion
654
654 million.
And
So
25.
that's the amount of money Japan would make by building that. Because their opinion is that there will be a lot of tourists and they'll pay a lot of money to just see that. Now, okay, that's fine. People, if people consider that fact, why wouldn't they do it? But there are some technical difficulties. One of the difficulties is that no one knows what the castle looked like. Because it was made in the 15th century for the first time, and it was made by the government at that time. Now, this is where it gets really important. Every government, now I'll get a bit political over here. Every government builds the monuments to raise the awareness of a certain person or a certain moment in the history. For example, when the previous government built the huge monument at the city square, the Great Warrior, we all know that it's Alexander the Great, right? Do you know the horse?
Yeah.
At the city square. When the government built it, their purpose was to tell the Macedonian people that we are descendants of Alexander the Great, and we're strong people, and we have rich history, and we should be proud of ourselves, right? So they had a certain aim when they built it, right? Now, in the 14th century, when the government in Japan, I'll just use the word government. It was the political system at that time was a bit different. They had different vocabulary, but government. In the 14th century, when the government in Japan built it, they wanted to show everyone that they were very strong and they had the ability to do it. And when they built it, it was the highest building in all of Japan. And what they were trying to say is that, look what we built. We're very strong. Don't mess with us. But when they built it to look as a symbol of peace. Because I told you that our castles and some Japanese castles have openings on their fortresses, on their walls, so people could just shoot arrows or shoot guns. This castle did not have anything to do with war. It was made as a symbol of peace. It didn't look scary at all. There were no big walls. There weren't any openings for shooting. It was only made to look very elegant, and so people could see it. So the Japanese people would see it, and they'd say, "Look how elegant our castle is. Look how nice it is and peaceful it looks like. We are the same." So that's why I'm saying that tourism is not the only reason why this group wants the Edo castle to be rebuilt. They think that it's going to that is going to have a very positive effect on the people's mindset, that they'll start thinking that they're good people again, and it will promote peace, right? Okay, do you understand?
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
I told you that the castle burned down, completely burned down.
And they
It turns
rebuilt
out that there was one professor, university professor, who works with researching and restoring traditional buildings. It's his strong side, it's his forte. He found the only existing proof of what it would look like, because he found the sketch of the original builders. So the original builder, who was in charge of the whole thing, of the whole operation in the 14th century, he had made a sketch. And this university professor found it, and he presented it on a conference. There were more than 200 other university professors and architects, and he had made a video presentation, a 3D video of what it would look like, and people really supported it. Now, one of the other problems, the other technical difficulties, was that this initiative is promoted by a group of normal citizens, not the government, and the site where the Edo Castle or Tokyo Castle existed is owned by the imperial family. So the emperor of Japan owns that. So he doesn't know about this. Maybe he knows, but he doesn't care. And it's a huge, huge park. And even after 15 years, they've had this idea for 15 years. They say that they're still not ready to present to the emperor. But once they do, maybe he'll be interested in building it. I think that's very, very interesting. Is there anything else I need to mention about this? I think that's it. I don't have to explain everything. Oh, one more thing. Edo is the old name for Tokyo. So Edo Castle is actually old Tokyo Castle. Yeah. So just remember that. I don't have time to summarize the whole bit because we have 8 minutes. I'd like to go to the third part. I'll explain that as well. Is this clear?
Can I ask you something?
Yes, yeah.
About the thing that you told us yesterday that was our homework.
Yes.
What are we supposed to do again? I didn't understand you.
I'll explain it later, okay? Because I'd like to explain something else now. Now,
Okay.
Okay, let me just, now, this. The fountain clock at Yuanming Yuan. This is, you can find it on the same page from the Scholars Cup, Zodiac Heads. Now, the Zodiac Heads is a performance. There are 12 zodiac signs, and it's an installation actually. So they just take the signs and they put them in a park somewhere. That's it. Now, what we care about is the original, the source, because in the 300 years ago, I think it was 300 years ago, they built a fountain clock in Yuanming Yuan. This is in China. Can you see my screen? Can you see this?
Yes.
These are the zodiac signs, because in Japan, they have in China, they have different zodiac signs. They don't have the ones that we have. We have the Taurus and Sagittarius and Capricorn and stuff. They have others. They have these. Where is it? They have these zodiac signs. By the way, I'm a dragon, and I feel very nice about that.
How do you
know?
It's based on your year, on the year you were born.
27.
These are the signs. These are the signs: snake, horse, ram, monkey, rooster, dog, pig, rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, and dragon. Yeah, I think the dragon wins all of them. Now, so the thing was, this is why it's important. So far, we've only talked about things that belong to one country, right? For example, Notre Dame undoubtedly belongs to France. Edo Castle belongs to Japan. But what happens when people from different nationalities and backgrounds work on one project? So this fountain, when it was created, it was solely made for the rich circles of Chinese people. So only rich Chinese people had the opportunity to go there and visit it and, I don't know, do what. The thing is that it was commissioned by the Chinese emperor, so he paid the money. So there's a Chinese guy paying the money. It was designed by an Italian artist. So the Italian artist is the first person who drew it, and he said, yes, this is what it should look like, right? So Chinese, Italian. And it was engineered by a French mathematician. So we already have 3 different nationalities working on one historical site, on one monument. And the thing that I would like to ask you questions, but we don't have time, so I'll just explain what I think. The thing is that there are rules, and they say that it belongs to China. Like the all of our buildings belong to us because they were built in our country, in our state. But the thing is that, in my opinion, is that they belong to the shared cultural heritage. So what we're trying to say is that if you go to a museum in Italy, they might say, ah, yes, our Italian artist made the sketch for the famous fountain in China. It belongs to us as well. So what I'm trying to say is that because people from different nationalities work together, it belongs to all of their traditions, separately and together. Do you understand? It's very, in my mind, it makes perfect sense. Now, just to illustrate this even better and to be more clear about it, I'll show you a building. Where is it? Skopje Post Office. You've probably. Just a second.
I've seen this.
Do you know this building? Do you know this building?
Yes.
Everyone knows it.
Yes.
It's in Skopje.
It was on fire.
I saw
It was on fire. Now, why am I telling you this? You know that in 1963 there was a huge earthquake in Skopje.
Yes.
Right? A lot of the buildings collapsed. It was a terrible time. Now, what the government did at that time, because we were part of Yugoslavia at that time, they announced an international competition, just like the French people did now.
Seriously?
Yes, yes.
They're
And
copying
this
us.
building, and a lot of other buildings in Skopje, Gradski zid go викаат. Знаете що е Gradski zid?
I've heard of it. I don't really.
Gradski
No one knows.
zid Skopje. This thing as well. These buildings, you know these buildings.
Oh, right. Yes.
Now,
Yes.
they were sketched by a Japanese architect.
I know this.
Kenzo Tange, that's his name. And Kenzo Tange is one of the greatest architects that have ever lived, because he's also made this government, blah, 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 I'm in a hurry, building.
Our lesson is gonna end any minute.
I know, I have 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
That's enough. He has also built this. This is the Tokyo Metropolitan Government. I've been here at the top floor with a guide, and when I went there, this is very important. When I went there and we told him that we were from Macedonia, he said, "Oh, our famous architect, he built Skopje." So he had very warm feelings. He had very warm feelings about Skopje, and he felt that Japanese people were connected to Skopje because of that. What I'm trying to say is that on that project, the post office, for example, I changed the post office. The post office in Skopje, it was engineered by a Japanese architect and his team of workers. And the workers who were building it, right, the handymen with the hammers, were people from all over Yugoslavia. There were Serbian, Croatian people, Montenegro. So what I'm trying to say is that, and it was made in our country. So we have a building in Macedonia, engineered by a Japanese person, built by people from 3 different countries, Croatia, Serbia, and Montenegro, let's say. What I'm trying to say is that if you really think about it, it belongs to all of us, because we all had to do something with that building. You understand? Does it make sense? So the thing is that it was the same thing with the fountain in China. We're not only talking about one thing that was engineered by a Chinese person, built by a Chinese person, so it undoubtedly belongs to Japan or China, whatever. I'm talking about when people from different nationalities work on one thing, it's shared cultural heritage. The legal system doesn't say that. The law says that if something is built in that country, it belongs to that country. It doesn't matter who built it.
What if only people from another country build it?
I don't know. But it's food for thought. It makes you think about it. So let me just summarize. We talked about Kintsugi, Japanese repairing technique with gold. We talked about the old Edo castle, which is supposed to be rebuilt so it boosts the virtues and people's spirit. And the third one about the fountain and the buildings in Skopje, which are cultural heritage. That's it. Less than 1 minute. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Thank you very much for coming. I'll see you.
Bye.
It was really interesting.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye, teacher.
Bye, teacher.